the first step and reach out for tomorrow. Live so
Time
fast.
for an unpleasant blind guy, Conservative Byte. I'm going to read you something that you might not think is important, but is, and I'll explain why. This is from a press release from the National Accelerator Laboratory, dated April the 4th, 2016. Its title, Major Upgrade Will Boost Power of World's Brightest X-ray Laser. LCLS-2 promises never-before-seen views of nature at work. Menlo Park, California. Construction began today on a major upgrade to a unique X-ray laser at the Department of Energy's SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. The project will add a second X-ray laser beam that's 10,000 times brighter on average than the first one and fires 8,000 times faster, up to 1 million pulses per second. The project, known as LCLS-2, will greatly increase the power and capacity of SLAC's LINAC coherent light source for experiments that sharpen our view of how nature works on the atomic level and on ultra-fast timescales. LCLS-2 will take X-ray science to the next level, opening the door to a whole new range of studies of the ultra-fast and ultra-small, said LCLS Director Mike Dunn. This will tremendously advance our ability to develop transformative technologies of the future, including novel electronics, life-saving drugs, and innovative energy solutions. A superior X-ray microscope. When LCLS opened 6 years ago as a Department of Energy Office of Science user facility, it was the first light source of its kind. A unique X-ray microscope that uses the brightest and fastest X-ray pulses ever made to provide unprecedented details of the atomic world. Hundreds of scientists use LCLS each year to catch a glimpse of nature's fundamental processes in unprecedented detail. Molecular movies reveal how chemical bonds form and break. Ultra-fast snapshots capture electric charges as they rapidly rearrange in materials and change their properties, and sharp 3D images of disease-related proteins provide atomic-level details that could hold the key for discovering potential cures. Now, if you're a progressive listening to this, you're probably waiting for me to say that the use of X-ray lasers is somehow against nature. You're waiting for me to start speaking in tongues, or for some other crazy behavior. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but all I'm going to do is point out the possibilities for such a device's misuse. Sufficiently miniaturized and powered, an X-ray laser has the potential to be one of the most powerful energy weapons ever conceived. I'm going to read to you from a piece called The X-ray Laser, From Underground to Tabletop. The concept for X-ray lasers goes back to the 1970s when physicists realized that laser beams amplified with ions would have much higher energies than beams amplified using gases. Nuclear explosions were often envisioned as a power supply for these high-energy lasers. That vision became a reality at the time of the Strategic Defense Initiative of the 1980s, when X-ray laser beams initiated by nuclear explosives were generated underground at the Nevada test site. Livermore's Novette, the precursor of the Nova laser, was used for the first laboratory demonstration of an X-ray laser in 1984. Now, I'm sure everyone of a certain age remembers the controversy around the so-called Star Wars program in the 1980s. Back then, progressives said that the proposed defense initiatives were impossible and a fantasy. I and others recognized that advances would come given enough time and enough funding. As it turns out, we were all right, but there's a bigger problem here. Technology is a tool. It can be used to benefit mankind, or it can be used against us. Now, in the past, we've trusted government officials and science writers in the major media to keep the people abreast of new and developing technologies. That system has worked well, but regardless of your political stripe, if you look over the past few presidential administrations, it has to be admitted that government has completely lost that bond of trust with the people that it once had. When it comes to new technologies and their possible misuse, can we really trust government officials and institutions funded by government to give the people information about developing technologies while they're developing? I think if we're being honest with ourselves, we have to say no. So what's the solution? I propose volunteer civilian auditors, empowered to examine these new technologies and report on them whenever they choose, to whatever public media outlet they choose, up to and including things like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever the next big thing in social media is going to be. There should be a term limit on these people's services, and they should have absolutely nothing to do with the institutions whose technologies they are examining. Others may have different ideas on how to monitor and report our technological advance, and that's fine, as long as the people get hold of information about new technologies before those new technologies possibly get hold of us. This has been an Unpleasant Blind Guy Conservative Byte.